All right, welcome in. So this is the Navigating Astral Section 1, tapping into the astral. So if you've been reading the articles up to this point, this is just going to be a refresher for you. So we're going to start by tapping into the astral, going through brainwaves, and how to get into theta waves easily by transitioning through all of your brainwaves. So, what is astral? Anytime you see me talking about astral in any of these lessons, I'm referring to the area that is around us that is energetic. So, there's a lot of groups that will try to tell you that astral is um, like one specific place that you go to. I found that to be a little bit vague when it comes to the the true meaning of astral. I find astral to be all the layers of all of the grids, all of the layers of our chakras, all of the layers of energy. So anytime I use it in any of my sessions or books that you may pick up on, it's just any space around us that is energetic. So it, like I said, it consists of many different layers and dimensions since everything is energy. This session, Navigating Astral, is meant to help you navigate through those layers without getting confused and overwhelmed. So astral looks like a lot of different things, especially depending on your perspective, which we'll get into perspectives in later sections, but perspective is just the way that you're viewing it, right? So right here, this is where you can see the grids, but also if you zoom out from the grids, you can also see planetary bodies as well, and they have their own grid system, which is magnetized, magnet it's like a polarization of the magnets as well, to where they're like magnetized to each other, but they're still polarized in different directions. But you can still see them in astral, and you can see like the difference of their grids. So usually, if you're able to see my cursor here on the left side, this is how they'll look if you zoom out from a layer. Like I said, we'll get more into that, but just so you can see for now, this is the grid layer of the astral. We're going to be talking about tapping into your brain waves and being consciously aware of how they feel to go between each layer. We're going to be talking about moving your energy through your chakras and some practice challenges for you to start seeing in astral. So at the end, I do have some practice challenges. They're not going to be a part of the quiz, but it's going to be like some journaling prompts for you while you're really getting yourself used to the space. And I may leave like some comments at the end. So if you wanted to comment your results under this quiz, I'm sorry, under this video, you can go down to comments and then just comment whatever you please or however you feel about this video. Okay. So finding your connection point, that is usually where people get stuck. It's like, okay, how do I get there? Like I've heard about astral. I know I go when I'm dreaming. How do I get there? So astral is the observance, well, astral projection is the observance of the astral, which is the energy around you. So you can reach it through different perspectives or points. So you can start by going into meditation, which is bringing your mind down to a space where it's calm enough to feel your chakras, feel all of your energy around you. You can also intentionally take that meditation, lie down, and go into lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is pretty interesting, but it's sometimes hard to achieve because the way of achieving it is by astral projecting while making sure nothing moves on your body. So usually when you're about to go into lucid dreaming, like your body starts to itch because like your mind is awake, but your body is trying to see if it's asleep. So if your body starts itching, you want to make sure that you don't move at all, even if you feel like tingles. It's not going to be like itchy as if like rash or anything crazy. It's just going to feel like tingles, and your body's going to want to scratch it or touch it or move or open your eyes. So that's when you know you're about to go into lucid dreaming, is when you're able to process through all of the feelings around you and still go into the astral. And that's when you'll be lucid dreaming for the night or for however long until you set your timer, however you like to do it. Also, I will show you guys a diagram if you're not familiar with your chakras, but if you pull your energy into your crown chakra, you can also access what I call your mind space. You'll see me use that term often as well. The mind space is where your subconscious mind, your highest self hangs out, and you can kind of see your past lives there. You can connect with your ancestors there. You can connect with any internal knowledge that your DNA has picked up in there. So that's where I call your mind space is just basically the energy that's inside your crown chakra. Daydreaming and theta waves go hand in hand. So daydreaming is pretty much like while you're driving, you zone out, you go into theta while you're driving, you go into theta while you're cooking, while you're doing something that you're used to cooking. While you can even do it while you're singing a song that you know the lyrics to, you can still go astral project. Like it's it's very it's very first nature to us that it we think it's hard, right? Just like when two things are polar opposites, we feel like it's so far out of reach, but it's also a piece of us. So just realize and just remember that like we're souls first, we're energy first. So when you go into this, you don't want to overthink this process at all. Just allow yourself to flow into it and allow yourself to flow into the energy around you. So this is all of the different waves. So gamma waves is like very intense spiritual awakening, ready to ascend, right? And then this is like more realistically of what they look like. When I get rid of this brain picture here, you'll see that they make it pretty uniformed back here, right? But realistically, our brain waves are pretty sporadic. So we'll go to theta, we'll go to alpha, we'll go to beta, all within like a 10-15 minute time period. Delta waves are more complex, so you're not just going to be hanging out talking to somebody and jump into delta, but you can definitely be talking to somebody and jump into theta. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the wavelengths all different for each one, and the hertz. You can write these hertz down as well. And I do believe this is also in one of the articles above. So if you wanted to go back to that and take notes on that article, and this will also be in the quiz at the end. So just check this out. So right here is delta waves. This is when you're in that deep sleep stage. Theta waves is that waking stage, right? When you're in between. So when you're about to fall asleep, and then also when you're waking up. Alpha waves is when you're relaxing, when you're being creative, when you're cooking. So beta waves, also alpha waves is like when you're running, jogging, doing something active, and using your mind in a light state. So like something you're used to doing, but not so relaxed that you're down into theta just yet, if that makes sense. So beta waves is like when you're trying to recall soul past lives or internal information. Also, so when I say soul past lives, this is like me explaining, like, say you're taking a test and you're trying to pull that memory. So you pull your memory from your DNA code, you pull it from the memory bank inside your brain, or you can also pull it from past life knowledge, depending on how often you tap into your past lives, or just anything that takes your attention fully, like anything that grabs your attention fully and takes deep concentration is beta waves. So that's like that remembrance. Let me see if there's any other examples of beta. Okay. Yeah, that's all I have right at the moment. But also gamma waves is like that level up of that. It's like, okay, I know why I'm here. I know what DNA is. I know energy. I know everything. Not in an egotistical way. It's just like that peak synchronization that I am existing in this as a sovereign or a knowledgeable being or however you want to label yourself, but it's the true awareness, and then your brain like lights up with, oh my god, I remember my soul, and that's when you'll see that you may see that you reach gamma waves. So this is pretty irrelevant. I'm not going to put this in the quiz. I know you guys saw this as well in the article. It's just another way of breaking down the waves, everything I just explained. So usually it is starting with non-REM stage 1, deep relaxation, alpha transitioning to theta. Non-REM stage 2 is the unconscious theta waves. It looks more like significant burst of electrical activity. And usually this is when the formation of memories come and to prevent arousal. So also theta, you know you're in theta because you don't quite hear everything in your background. And also in theta, that's when your memories start to get programmed. So that's when that moment when everything in your background starts to become quiet. You don't get aroused easy by anything in your background. but your memories are also being downloaded at that time. So that's why it's also very important to make sure that you're getting adequate sleep, is because your memory wants to be downloaded so you can retrieve it at later days. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but if you don't get enough sleep, you're actually affecting your memory. And you may see, like if you go for 2 days without sleeping, 48 hours, you'll notice that your memory is kind of messed up for those days and everything runs together. It's not because of the clocks, it's because of your memory cycle. So then after theta waves, you come into the first stage of delta waves, which is deep sleep, and then you go into REM sleep. So these are all levels of non-REM, and then you go into REM sleep, which the waveform is like wakefulness. This is usually when you're going to get downloads from your ancestral team, if you're into things like that, or you'll have very intense dreams. You'll say, "Oh, I was just dreaming about that before I woke up." That's when you're in that REM sleep. And usually this is when like you'll see people's eyes moving while they're sleeping. And high frequency, low amplitude waves, that means they come pretty often and they're pretty short. All right. And let's go on to the next. So this is just another diagram of showing you everything I just explained. They're irregular, they come in bursts. And theta is where we want to be when we are going into astral projection. We have control over our mind, we have control over the energy around us, while still not being too tapped into the 3D where we hear and see things that are in the space around us. If we're starting to get into that understanding of these. So here's the hard part. How do you get into theta without falling asleep? It's part of the REM sleep, right? Non-REM sleep, I mean. It's part of the levels of sleep. You can sit up straight. You can do it while you're in meditation, while you're going through your chakras. Make sure you're lying on your back and not on your side or your stomach. Stay focused on what you want to achieve. So if you feel yourself falling asleep, say, no, I need to focus on getting into theta. Just keeping that mental control over yourself. And then keep your focus on your energy points. I interchange the words energy points and chakras, so they mean the same thing when I'm referring to them. So energy points and chakras are the same. So keep your focus on your energy points, which is your chakras, which I believe the diagram is coming up next. In just a second. So let's talk about finding them. So when you go into astral, it's very, very important that you start out by knowing yourself. Know thyself, that way you can learn the space around you. So you want to start by learning where your energy points are, your chakras, and see like where they're moving, how they're moving. What does each one mean for you? What do the portals look like for you? Which direction are they spinning? Are they spinning? Are they going fast, slow, or medium? Does one have more energy than the other? Or do you see the colors of them? And this, you don't have to say yes to everything. You don't have to see it immediately. As long as you're able to like say, okay, I feel energy through my body, through every inch of my body, but I feel stronger energies coming together in the middle of different parts of my body in relation to the organs that are in that position. Okay, those are my chakras. Simple as that. If you have to look at a diagram to help you locate it, it's normal, okay? But just know not to overthink it, because it's a part of you. It's just like you have organs in your body, you have energy, and your chakras harness your soul the way your organs harness your vessel, your body. So this is similar to what they look like. We start with the root, we have the sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and the crown. So you'll see me talking about the crown and the third eye a lot when I'm referring to just basic astral projection and tapping into your mind space. There's also portals in all of the rest of them. And then there's an Earth Star chakra that is underneath. You can reach into the Earth Star chakra to learn about the history of the land that you're standing on. You can also pair the crown and the Earth Star if you want to go through exploring in your astral body. And then you're like, oh, I found Egypt. So while you're in Egypt, you can actually ground your astral body into Egypt and retrieve the DNA from that space. So you can pair them as well. Also, the heart chakra, there's a space inside of your heart chakra that like you can go in there and you can throw out the most terrible things you feel about yourself, like, oh my God, I I can't believe I cheated on my test, right? And all the energy inside your heart chakra is just gonna be like, hugs, hugs. Is there anything else you would like to release to us? Like, we don't care. Like, there's nothing you can say that's gonna make us care. So that's a really good place if you're having a hard time with your self-esteem. Like, you can pull your energy into this green space right here, which is in your heart, in between, right there by your breastplate, and you just feel that energy, and you'll see like a green burst usually, or you don't have to see a green burst. You'll just feel the warmth of the space. And while you're in there, you may see like grassy things or a fire, or depending on what element your heart calls to. Usually it's grassy and greenish, but it really just depends on the person and what their heart calls to. So when you go in there, you'll know you're in there because it's just a beautiful space to be in. And when you go deeper into there, you could sit down and then just do everything I just described. Like, it's epic. Okay, so just know each one has its own portal, which I will get into more into the sections. But you can also get my book. I break it down in depth in my book as well. All right, so the chakra spin. When accessing the spin, you're locating the outer wheel. The inner wheel is, look at me, artsy, is simultaneously still and ever dynamic, but it's humming. So if you're familiar with atoms, how they say like atoms in a solid, liquid, and gas all move at different speeds. Well, with the chakra, it's more like you have the inner circle, which is kind of like there, it's vibrating with energy, it's alive, and then you have like that outer spin that spins around it. So if you go in looking for that inner circle, you may say, oh, it's chaotic, or something like that, but then this is actually moving at the pace it's meant to move at. So you don't want to look at that buzzing in the middle. You want to look at the spin around it and the swirl that the energy becomes. Okay. It can be rotating either clockwise or counterclockwise. There's no right way for it to be rotating for anybody. It's usually decided by the eyes of the observer. So, for example, if you're sitting here and you're like, oh, it's going counterclockwise for me, but if I'm looking at you, it's going clockwise. So, usually, like somebody will say, it's determined by the eyes of the observer. So, me being the observer, I would say that your chakras are clockwise. Um, and that's relevant because usually when you balance out your own chakras, sometimes you want them all to be going in a specific direction. They're your chakras, it's your energy. You can do whatever you want with it. But to keep it regulated, that's usually the term that they use is from the observer's perspective so that we can stay in alignment with each other. Um, so that's the spin on chakras. And so this, when I say try a different perspective, a lot of people try to go into astral, well, do successfully do go into astral by just sitting in their body and deciding to like step out of their body. But my perspective is to shoot your energy up into your crown. Excuse me, that way you can effectively pull your energy up into a whole space where you can learn about yourself more, because I find it very effective if you learn about yourself before you go exploring places, which it doesn't mean that you have to learn everything about your soul before you can go out there, but I do find it pretty beneficial to learn at least your chakras and your highest self first. So that's why I have this here. So going into your crown chakra is about 6 inches above your head. And what you want to do is you want to sit in meditation and feel your energy through all your chakras. And then you want to pull your energy up through each chakra and then get right here. And then it's going to feel almost like a Roman candle bursting energy into your crown, or just pulling it all at once, or however it looks like for you. Personally, I resonate with the Roman candle because then I feel like I have more control of the amount of energy that I put into my crown. But it can look like this for you, to where you're just pulling your energy up into this space. Then you still have like more chakras above that. So it's really good to practice pulling your energy up into the grids above you. And also you can pull your energy down to the grids below you. And that's when I was mentioning that soul star chakra that's down here connected to the earth. The Earth Star, sorry, the Earth Star. The Soul Star is up here. Um, and also as the Soul Star, the and everything after you've put your energy into your crown is here. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm moving again. I do apologize if you weren't able to hear me, but it's a good thing we do have the subtitles going just in case there was a glitch. Okay, so you can find your soul star, your galactic chakra, all of that inside your crown space. So when you go into your mind space, you can actually ask, okay, where are my past lives? And they will guide you through that mind space. It's like a portal to the higher dimensions, right? So getting yourself grounded into just your crown is going to open the door to learn more about your past lives, more about your higher self, and just more about the grids in general. This is all I've explained. Feel free to pause here and check that out. So here's another diagram with the labels. This is also in your article. You may be familiar with this. So what I'm saying is you have energy in all of these. What you want to do is slowly focus it and bring them up one by one and bring them up to here. And like I said, each one is a portal for healing and connection. Just depends on which one you step into. And we will talk about more about each one as we go through this section, the next sections. Learning how to see. Okay, so this is where, okay, now we're up here, we figured it out. What are we looking at? Because it's not even as clear as dreams, and it's definitely not as clear as whatever's sitting in front of you. So, usually when you go into the crown, so I'm going to talk about from the crown starting place for right now. You'll usually start with like a loading screen. You can look around for your hands, your feet, any objects in your mind space. Do you see colors? Start from your crown. It's going to put you in a different starting place. And that's what I was just explaining. A lot of people like to pull out their body or go into different chakras to do this. It's just going to be different than the typical methods. And also, while you're in here, can you move your energy in different directions? So, finding your higher self from the observer's perspective. You might have a magnetic pull toward your higher self, or you might have to practice seeing colors and shapes first. So, when you start going through, you may feel like, okay, I want to go see my higher self first. Or you might have to practice a bit of colors and shapes first. Or you may go directly into your mind space, which is the place where you can find your higher self and connect with your spirit guides. Like it's different levels that you start with, but you can go into there and just kind of see what it looks like. If you see things running around, if you see energies, do you see an archway? Is your mind space a cave or the ocean or um I've seen like swamps for mind spaces. Like you want to spend some time there and see what you see. Like that is your soul's space where it likes to hang out. This is what resonates with you. A lot of them look like castles with libraries in them, and it's you. So explore. Um, you can also go find your highest self and connect with your spirit guides as well. That's also what I was mentioning. Like you talk to your higher self or you ask where your spirit team is and you can talk to them in there. Okay. So here's the challenge. Like I said, the challenges are not going to be on the quiz. So see what's on the other side of the door. Um, all of your mind spaces do have a door. 98% of them, I'm saying 98%, but I haven't seen one without a door. But I'm just leaving like that 2% out there in case I run across one that has no door. Um, does your mind space have cracks and leaks? Are there other entities in there beside your higher self? So the reason why these questions become challenges is because like sometimes there's things hanging out in your higher self, in your mind space, part of your subconscious mind that we haven't worked through. Sometimes we'll see entities in our mind space that's really just depression or it's anxiety. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'm under spiritual attack. But usually it's just your own depression or your own anxiety that's kind of messing with you and it messes with your subconscious mind, aka your highest self. So is there anything else in there besides you? So you want to take notes of that and feel free to drop it down in the comments and I will get to them as you guys send them in. And you're more than welcome to reach out to me in the chat box at any time. Even if it says the office is closed, I still receive all of your messages straight into my phone from the chat box. You'll see it down in the corner on any section on my website. You're also able to email me directly. Just let me know if you have any questions at all, or if there's anything on any of these on any of these shows, PowerPoints, slides that don't make too much sense. I do apologize, guys. I am recording at night, but I thank you guys for being here. Thanks for taking this course. It means a lot to me. So feel free from here. You should go down to your quiz. Everything should be covered in here. There are a few things from the articles that you may want to study and look over. Some things that go a little bit more in depth than what I did tonight. But the first quiz is going to be simple. And at the end of this, you will receive a certificate just saying, hi, I'm a beginner, an advanced beginner in Astral. Like I've learned all the basics of Astral. And then, it's not really required for anything, but I think it's fun to have and I think it's cool, especially because we're about to take a deep dive from here. So thank you so much for completing section 1. Let me see. Also, if you want to continue to journal and practice altering your brainwaves, practice seeing colors, and just a reminder that Astral is not going to be as clear as your dreams, so you must adjust your perspective to learn how to navigate. So thank you guys so much, like I said, and go ahead and take that quiz, and I'll see you in section 2. Bye.